at 10 o'clock. The Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir is seeing Ezer Weizman, the cabinet minister accused of talking to the PLO. Mr. Weizman's dismissal is due to take effect in an hour's time. It could threaten the country's coalition government.
In the hours that have followed the shock dismissal on Sunday of Mr. Weizman, Jerusalem has been the scene of urgent negotiations involving the principal parties. Israel's leaders have until late this morning London time to come up with a compromise formula that will avert a government collapse. Not all Labour politicians here approve of what Mr. Weizman did, having contacts with the PLO. But they're united in the view that the manner of his dismissal is unacceptable. Unless he's reinstated, they say, Labour will pull out of the government of national unity.
And within the last few minutes, it's been reported from Israel that Mr. Weizman has agreed to resign. Pollution control experts are still fighting to prevent a giant oil slick causing an environmental disaster in Morocco. The 200-mile slick is less than 20 miles from the coast, threatening tourist beaches and the fishing industry.
The forecast for the waters off the Moroccan coast is unseasonably good. An anticyclone should hold out for another day, which means calm seas and a consequently much easier job for the experts trying to contain the slick. That could change very easily, though, and the fear is that if the winter winds start whipping up, it'll be very soon that the oil ends up on Moroccan beaches. The international aid teams, led by the French, are continuing to work around the clock with detergents to break up the oil and floating barrages to contain it.
The United States has withdrawn some of its troops from Panama. The former leader, General Noriega, who's still sheltering in the Vatican embassy in Panama City, is coming under increasing pressure to give himself up.
It isn't just the military maneuvers outside that make General Noriega's presence inside, and he's been there more than a week now, seem increasingly precarious. Panama's new Attorney General, Rogelio Cruz, wants to press charges of murder against him, and a deal could easily be worked out in which he's sent to the United States and then re-extradited back to Panama. What's in doubt is the timing, when the Americans or Panamanians can get their hands on him. But his chances of escaping justice seem close to zero.
One of the leaders of the new provisional government in Romania, the Deputy Foreign Minister, Corneliu Bogdan, has died of a heart attack. Mr. Bogdan was a former ambassador to the United States and since the revolution has been acting as spokesman between the government and the media. The next news is at 11 o'clock.
Good morning to you. It actually looks as if the weather is about to take a turn for the worst off the coast of Morocco, and I'll show you some charts that show that quite vividly in an hour or so's time. Now, in this country at the moment, the weather's fairly quiet. We have had some nasty old conditions on the way into work this morning with fog and frost, but most of that's on the way out now, and there's a bank of cloud spreading in from the southwest that's brought with it some rain that you can see quite vividly here on the radar picture, stretching from Northern Ireland through Wales and western parts of England. That's going to head on northeastwards during the rest of the day, clearing away the last of the fog and the last of the ice in the next, well, an hour or so, or even less, I would imagine. And that thicker cloud with outbreaks of rain working its way across the northwest of England into Scotland, somewhat brighter weather following into Northern Ireland and the southwest of Scotland later on today. That cloud and outbreaks of rain holding far, though, over Wales and the southwest, although tending to peter out from time to time. As for central and eastern areas of England, a dry day in store, the fog lifting, so remaining rather grey and overcast, but just here and there probably a little bit of brightness. As for temperatures today, around about the normal in most parts, which means 6 or 7 in the east there, the mid-40s Fahrenheit, a bit milder than that in the more western areas, 9 or 10 is up towards 50 degrees Fahrenheit.